Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
As always, the Ramble is sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. Thank you for joining the team for their continued support for the Ramble. Today's Ramble is also sponsored by High Point Access. Thank you to them for their support. They are your number one stop shop for all your working at heights and roofing needs. If you mention the Blades Ramble when booking any works with them, you'll also get 10% off. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is the morning after. I'm not sure whether this will be a regular thing or whether we just do it for really special nights like last night. How is everybody feeling today? Look, I am teetotal, as everybody or most people will know. I know a lot of people aren't. Shout out, Jord. Hope you're feeling okay. So, Jord, just on that, did a Ramble on the Road for us yesterday. Ramble on the Road is where we do our match day vlogs. Platinum Ramblers have the opportunity to film their match day and take us with them. And obviously, days like yesterday are absolute gold. And we have got a fantastic Ramble on the Road to come. And that's available now for Platinum Ramblers. It'll be available for Ramblers very shortly. If you're not already signed up, that's part of our Patreon benefits. But it will also be released to the wild at some stage. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know. But Geordie boy went to the sty yesterday. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm honestly, I cannot wait for you all to see it because the Platinum Ramblers that have already seen it are absolutely buzzing about it. Jord was a little bit worse for wear. Jord, who prides himself on doing such a brilliant job, or always tries to do a brilliant job. I think he does a brilliant job. Always prides himself on trying to do the best he possibly can. He was gutted yesterday because he got so hammered at the end of the day that he'd sort of delay the upload and stuff like that. It don't matter. None of that matters, does it? Enjoy the day. How often does this happen? He's had a great time, and you'll see that yourselves. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing that. But how is everybody else feeling? A lot of you will have had to turn into work this morning. I do apologize in terms of your physical state, but I tell you what, if you work with Wednesdayites, how good is that? So I just wanted to jump on this morning. I am absolutely shattered. I was going to say I'm teetotal, as you all know, but I couldn't sleep last night. I was still like, the adrenaline was still going. So yeah, it's been an absolutely incredible result. And I speak about it on the channel a lot, where for me personally, I've always had more of a direct rivalry with Leeds. But I have to say, there's no better feeling than that yesterday. They wanted to beat us more than anything, and they just weren't good enough. And that's no slight on them. I think Danny Roll, as much as I don't like him after this week's interactions, I think he's been very disrespectful to Chris Wilder. He's certainly got some back from our gaffer. I thought his 10-minute monologue, pretty much, on Radio Sheffield after the match, if you haven't heard it, please go and listen to it. Chris Wilder talking about what he basically clearly had bottled up for some time in terms of the disrespect he felt had been shown to the club and himself in certain directions. And obviously, Danny Roll sort of nudged him on that. It certainly got under his skin, but he's channeled it in the right way, hasn't he? And that, for me, explains a little bit about the reaction post-match in terms of how he celebrated. We've got a few videos here. Let me show you some of these, and I'm sure you've seen them online, but starting with the main man himself. Shout out to, I think it's Alex on Twitter. That's obviously gone all the way around Sheffield United's social media stuff and things like that. But I wanted to keep his smiling little face in there at the end because he deserves credit for the video he took. I think he's responsible for the next two as well that I'm going to show you. But don't worry, apologies if not. So I like to give credit where I can. Now, obviously, we're a PG channel, so I want you to be able to watch this with your kids, with, watch it comfortably, knowing that you're not going to be offended by anything that we say. That does take the shine off some of the chants. I understand that, but most of you will know what the chants are anyway. The final one I'm going to show you this morning is this. And for those that didn't twig, that was obviously the one before that was Michael Cooper, the best goalkeeper in the Championship. We've been saying it all season, haven't we? And how good was he yesterday? Man of the match. And I didn't really think they threatened that much, but whenever he was needed, he was called upon. Could have gone either way, like most games can. It was a tightish game, but we were just a better side. And I think the moments of quality shone through in the end. That was obviously Ben Barrett and Diaz. I'm sure most of you will recognise getting the Rhian Brewster chant going. How pleased are we all for Rhian Brewster? Look, there's no going backwards on the channel, and there's no sort of rewriting history. We've all had our say, and we've all got different opinions on Rhian Brewster and loads of different players. Jack Robinson is obviously another one on this channel that divides opinion, led by me, I suppose. Don't matter whether they divide opinion, whether we like them as players, whether we rate them as players. It's never personal. That's the first thing. But the second thing is always that we always want them to do well for our football club, because we're Sheffield United fans first and foremost. And if we feel passionately one way or the other about them, it's because we're Sheffield United fans and we want the best for our club. So whether you agree with me on Jack Robinson or not, or you agree with Ian on Rhian Brewster or not, or other people that really rate Rhian, some people think it's still going to be his last season with us because he's out of contract at the end of the year. I think we are all, firstly, obviously delighted that he got the winner yesterday, because it's a winning goal against the rivals, which I think it's now, 8 hours since they've scored against us. Never mind come close to beating us. Absolutely incredible record under Chris Wilder against these boys. But I think everybody, to a person, whether you rate him as a player or not, has to be delighted for Rhian Brewster, because I've never seen anything that would make you think anything other than he is a great lad. And it's great to see somebody who's been through such a horrific time with injuries and form, it has to be said, and scrutiny and all the other things that come with it. And he's the one that's got the winner in the Sheffield derby to do the double over Sheffield Wednesday in a season that takes us back into the automatic promotion places with 8 games to go. Everything to play for. Everything to play for. So I've just jumped on this morning to quickly talk about it. We don't have to go long. I appreciate a lot of you are otherwise engaged. I just wanted to come in and sort of enjoy the aftermath, if you like. So let's see who's in with us this morning. Grumpy Jack. Are we going to change our name now, Jack? I know we're flip-flopping with attitudes at the minute. You've been positive. You were very negative. Then you flipped to positive, Jack. And then after the Bristol City, dropped points, if you like. But I think it's just the way it happened. We're now Grumpy Jack. Morning, Jimmy. Hope you're okay. I'm at work right now. Not the best performance, but who the hell cares? Sheffield double, top of the league. A nice rest. Let's hope we have some players back. Yeah, let's hope so. Fingers crossed, Jack. It was an interesting lineup yesterday. I don't know if I've got it on this page. So, I have. I've got the lineups here. So this was the lineups yesterday, which I know we're all aware of. In fact, I've watched the game back this morning, which just tells you everything you need to know about how much I enjoyed it. But when you look at that lineup, I, for one, I mean, I'm going to throw him under the bus now. Morning, Andy the Blade. You know how much you mean to us all on this channel. But the first message I got, in fact, let me knock this off just so you can. I'm not going to show you the actual message, but what in the holy hell is that team? I won't tell you Hecky out Sal's uncharacteristic response. And then my dad follows it up with Brewster ... again. Yeah, I'll call you out, Andy the Blade. get back on this channel and make yourself accountable. So, yes, Andy the Blade said that. So that was the lineups yesterday. I'm not bothered about their team. Shea Charles, future Sheffield United midfielder, lined up for them. Bazza Bannon, as you can see there, I've covered up his hairline because it fits nicely with the crop, but also just to do him a bit of a favour, really. So I thought they put in a good performance, but I think we all know, in terms of the opposition, I think we're all fully aware and understand, even though I don't like Danny Roll after this week, and I think he's been quite disrespectful. Not that I'm bothered, not that Wilder's that bothered, because we've had the last laugh, haven't we? But it must be said, and I think it's only right to point out that he is doing a very good job with a very limited squad, very limited. And they would be in a lot more trouble, I think, if he wasn't there. So I'm not particularly bothered about their lineup. He again, almost got the maximum out of a top-end League One squad. Maybe Windass is the exception to that. Obviously, Shea Charles didn't really turn up yesterday, but he's a very good player. Barry Bannon's been playing well at this level, it has to be said. But the rest of them aren't up to much, if I'm honest. Gassama wasn't as intimidating as we all thought he were going to be. Callum Patterson rolled back the years for about 10 minutes till he got booked and then he was quiet. But it's our team that I'm looking at. Michael Cooper, the best goalkeeper in the league. Absolutely no qualms about it. From my perspective, from most Sheffield United fans' perspective, I think he's absolutely brilliant. But then you look at Sariki at right back, not the most steady defensively. And I think that was shown in the first 10, 15 minutes. I thought he looked a little bit nervy up against Callum Patterson, of all people, but it was quite fiery. I thought he dealt with it well and grew into the game, to be fair to Femi. Jack Robinson started the game over Rob Holding. Wilder later came out and said that he'd picked the team before the Bristol City game. He picked the Derby team before the Bristol City game. So whatever Rob Holding did in that game wasn't going to change his mind, really. So whether you agree with that method, I think, look, it's worked. So we can look into that and criticise it if you like, but I don't see why you would, because it's worked. So Robinson, the captain, alongside Anel, and Harrison Burrows at left back. And then in the middle, it was the quite concerning pairing of Hamza Chowdhury and Sidi Peck, who didn't work together, if we're honest. And I think that's a large part of the reason that Wilder changed it at half-time against Bristol City. It didn't work together previously. I thought they were okay yesterday. I thought they were all right. Sidi Peck obviously had huge involvement for the goal. Fair play to Sidi, who I thought stood up and was counted yesterday. It's his sort of game, isn't it? Let's be right. Hamza Chowdhury, I thought, had an okay first half, and then came really roaring back in. I don't know if he'd had a rocket at half-time or what, but I thought he played really well second half. Then in front of them, Brereton Diaz was on the right, Gus Hamer was on the left, and the surprising selection of them all was Rhian Brewster in the 10 over Callum O'Hare. And I think a large part of the reasoning was the pitch that Wilder said afterwards, which is an interesting thing to consider, but it was a terrible pitch because they can't afford to have the grass cut. So it was just shocking. But Rhian Brewster, I thought he were largely absent for chunks of the game, if I'm honest. He tries hard, but I didn't think he did it an awful lot, if I'm completely honest with you. And Tyrese Campbell up front. Tyrese flipping Campbell. And we all know what happened, don't we? We all know what happened. So who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Sorry, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but as I said, I didn't really plan on what we were going to say this morning. We just come on to enjoy, haven't we? So Luke says, yes, Jimmy, I've calmed down a bit now and faced reality, and that is that Rhian Brewster should sign a new 10-year deal. Jokes aside, if he does leave, at least he will leave giving us a remarkable memory. Look, nobody's going to... I think he'll always be remembered as the player that we hugely overpaid for, unfortunately, and you can't... This far down the line, you can't change that, I don't think, unless he does sign a new deal for another couple of years and suddenly becomes our top scorer, say, in the Premier League. But I think that moment will always bring a smile to Blade's faces, and he will be the one responsible for it. He'll be remembered fondly, even not necessarily on the pitch, but his contributions to us overall. I think that certainly helps his reputation, doesn't it? Do you? I mean, it's going to be. I'm getting together with the 3 Mardy Blades tomorrow on Patreon, and one of the subjects is going to be what now for Rhian Brewster, because obviously he keeps popping. Just when you think he's out, they pull me back in. He always seems to be on the cusp of, right, yeah, he's had another poor game, we probably won't offer him a new deal, and then he does something like this where he steps up, he's the man of the moment. Mark Hill is in our chat has just rightly put on, and shout out to Mark, on the tipping point. He's just pointed out he's frozen a picture of who was following in. Should Brewster not have been in the right position, loads of blades were free to come and tap it in. That takes nothing away from Rhian Brewster. He was Johnny on the spot. He was the man that put the ball in the back of the net. He put the ball in the Wednesday net, as we say. But it was just a great move from United overall. Lovely pirouette from City, which I've now seen, obviously. I saw live as well, but it had just been blurred into me. Tyrese Campbell does a lot of the hard work, it has to be said. Took on his man who you have to question. Man Mountain said it last night in 90 After 90. Thank you to everybody that joined us for 90 After 90 last night, by the way. We had some, I think it's over 5,000 views already. Make mine a double. So if anybody wants to go and... I always put them comments up, don't I? If anybody wants to go and watch that back, it was a very fun time, I have to say. We all enjoyed it very much. So thank you to everybody that joined us on there. So where were we in the comments? So Danny Boy says, poor match, if I'm being honest, Jimmy. Got the result we wanted and needed. Just wish these derbies had that bite like they used to have. Has Brewster done enough for a new deal? Probably not. Up the blades. That's definitely a talking point. Danny Boy, I want to ask you a quick question. A suggestion popped up on TikTok for me. And it was Danny Boy, spelt the same way as you, splitting the G on the Guinness. Is that you? Because if it is, I'll follow you back, pal. I didn't know. I've not seen your face, obviously, but let me know. Pixie says, a very good double to you, Jimmy lad. Absolutely right, Pixie. I bet it's a bit salty for them Wendy's at different workplaces today. I'm still buzzing from yesterday. Not seen my Wendy neighbours yet. No, I think they're in hiding, Pixie. I think they'll be in hiding for a little while, to be honest. Ian says, good morning, Ramblers. The best Monday morning feeling ever. My boy Rhian having an impact in every game. He's only going to get better. Up the blades, up all the rambles. Like and subscribe, please. I think, and fair play to Ian and Beast Boy, who have championed Rhian Brewster through really difficult times this season. I think somebody, it might have been Dave the Nose, it could have been Man Mountain. Somebody who came on 90 After 90 yesterday said, Rhian Brewster is much better as an impact player. It might have been Ricky, to be fair. Could have been Billy. Could have been anybody. It's all a bit of a blur, if we're honest. Not as much of a blur as Jordan's day, but it's all a bit of a blur. I think he's better as an impact player off the bench. And I think that's fair. I think we've seen his bigger contributions, maybe not in output, but I think certainly in terms of performances, have been from the bench when he's come off to make an impact. Obviously, he started yesterday and got the goal, so that goes against the point I'm making, but Ian thinks he will get better and better, and I hope you're right, mate. I really hope you're right, because we're all benefiting, aren't we, if Rhian does that? Giving up on work for the day. Is there a 3MB later? Says Ian. Not today, because it were tricky for Dave the Nose tonight. We're going to go tomorrow night for 3MB, so we'll see you there, Ian. We're going to release Ramble on the Road, I think, tonight for everybody else. Good morning, everyone, says Ray. I'm back on the Brewster train. Not everyone is, but you can't beat a goal against that lot. And I'd give him a new... Would you? Would you give him a new... This is a definite talking point, I think, for tonight, for tonight's 3MB. Morning, Jimmy, says David, and fellow Ramblers. What a day it was. Great job by Jord on Ramble on the Road. Just watching highlights of the game. I just can't get enough. Up all the rambles. Hit the like button. Thank you, David, who came on 90 After 90 yesterday. And ended up hiding from his ex-wife, which was, yeah, you'll have to go watch it. Buzzing this morning, says Brett. Can't beat a Sheffield double. It's a proper Sheffield double, this, isn't it? Wait, for those that aren't Blades that are watching this, there might not be many of you now at this moment in time, because obviously it's not going that well for Leeds, who generally join us, and some Burnley fans jump in as well. Got some Coventry fans in as well. But a Sheffield double for us is when we win a game and Sheffield Wednesday lose a game. So that we would call that week a Sheffield double. So that's the aim every match week. Every game week is a United win, a Wednesday loss. But this is more than a double. This is us beating Wednesday twice in the same season. 2-0. Clean sheets all round. So it's absolutely, I think it's more than a double. More than a double. Danny Boy says sausage roll. Who's sausage roll? Who's sausage roll? Prefer a steak because it's all gravy, baby. Nice. Arden says, zippity doo da, zippity day. Oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine coming my way. Now that we've put the piggies away. Nice. Apologies for my singing, but these people aren't here to sing to us, so I have to be the voice for that. Nipper says, morning, Jimmy lad. Give a thumbs up, lads. Nipper is a Leeds fan, but a top lad who always comes and joins us on the streams when he can. And not one of these that sort of wishes ill on us. Let's be right. And I know there's Burnley fans that hover around here as well. I'm good mates with Joe from Turfcast. I'm hoping to get together with him this week at some point. But I'd like Leeds to go up with us, if I'm honest. I don't like Leeds as a club. You know my thoughts on Leeds United, but I have really enjoyed the shared content, the shared audiences. Obviously helps the channel, but I think going back, and these rivalries are what football is all about. Look how buzzing we are this morning to have beaten them lot. If we'd have beaten Leeds, we'd have been the same. Leeds were absolutely buzzing. They'd won the league when they beat us at Bramall Lane, hadn't they? And obviously it all swings back. This is why we love the game. I love this game. Beast Boy says, Rhian Brewster, baby. Rhian Brewster, oh. George goes through all of these on Ramble on the Road. So if you want to join in with George singing them all. Still smiling, says Will. Cooper has had more clean sheets at Swilsbury in 2025 than Beadle. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Love Michael Cooper. Love Michael Cooper. What a man. What a man, what a view. Morning, Jimmy. I've probably rewatched that game more than 8 times. What a wonderful time to be a Blade. It is a good time to be a Blade. And we've got to enjoy this, haven't we? And I am always conscious that these can come back to bite us. And I'm the one that's sort of here to be shot at if things go wrong for Sheffield United. But if we don't enjoy these moments, what is the point? What is the point in even turning up? So, yes, enjoy it, live it, love it, whatever you want to call it.
This is a view from the mountain with a heart so pure it's astounding. Man, mountain strong and true. What a man, what a view.
Apologies, housewives. He's not here. I don't mean to sort of get your expectations up unnecessarily. It is just a comment from the Man Mountain, but he does say Wilder's interview was genius, brilliant day for the club. Believe it or not, I'm very happy for Brewster. I'd love him to kick on now and get a good run. Let's enjoy this running and seal promotion. Well said, mate. Well said. Beast Boy says, Jimmy, have you seen that video of Robinson giving it the big one after our goal to the Wendy's? Yes, I have, and I enjoyed it. Look, I love that side of his game. There's no... I keep trying to go back to the same point. There's never anything personal in it. And I love the passion he's got when he's on the field. What's happened for those that haven't seen it, basically, I think when we've scored, it appears as though some of their fans have thrown something onto the pitch. And Robinson, I think, picks it up and sort of casts it to the side and then goes over to fans to say, what are you doing that for? That's ridiculous. And then starts doing this like, come on, because we've scored. Love it. Love the housery. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And I love that element of the game, as you know, because we're all wind-up merchants, aren't we? But you give it, you've got to take it. So if it swings back round and we end up third, I might look daft to some people, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride. Brett says, whatever you say about Brewster, his commitment to the cause is immense. And you can tell the love he has for the club, delighted for him. Yeah, it does feel like he's got a real affinity to the club now, doesn't it? The city is ours, says Viral Vibes. It's brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant. And says, loved how Robbo gave it to their fans after the goal. Yeah, me too. Me too. Will says, feel like the Brewster start was based on the occasion with Bannon's comments, their fans' comments. He knew he'd be up for it more than any of them, which hopefully means O'Hare is straight back in. Yeah, I think O'Hare will come back in for Coventry. I mean, it's a big game for O'Hare, isn't it, playing Coventry, his former club. Rhian Brewster, for those that aren't aware of what Will's referring to, Barry Bannon, I think it was last season. He got on they were celebrating something. I think it might have been when they got promoted, because obviously they had to overturn a 4-0 deficit to Peterborough to get promoted. Before the sausage roll were in charge, Darren Moore was still there. And Barry Bannon, while they're out celebrating at Ado, gets on the mic and says, Rhian Brewster, you're effing honking, son. Them sort of things stick, don't they? Them sort of things. And look, Rhian Brewster reacted because when we got promoted to the Premier League, I don't know which one came first, to be honest. Bannon's might have been a reaction to Rhian Brewster, who was on the town hall balcony saying, what do we think of Wednesday and all that sort of thing. So it's part of it, isn't it? It's part of it. And yes, so Brewster will have had that extra little edge, potentially. You can't convince me that Callum O'Hare wouldn't have had a strong impact yesterday, because I think he would have done. But don't matter, does it? Don't matter either way, because who's to say Callum O'Hare would have been in the spot that Brewster was in for the crucial moment? We don't know. We just don't know. Beast Boy says Rhian Brewster deserves a statue for everything he's been through and still managing to fight for this club. Don't be ridiculous, Beast Boy. Azrab says, good result yesterday, big 3 points. Come on, you Blades, for the rest of the season. Absolutely right, Az. Follow. United have done the double. They'll be drying their eyes because of Rhian and Ty. Sheffield United have done the double. Yes, I remembered it. I heard that one last night. I couldn't find that video that I'd seen because I was just absolutely buzzing last night. Follow. Sheffield United have done the double. They'll be drying their eyes because of Rhian and Ty. Sheffield United have done the double. Hey! Yes. That's got to be another Terrace song. Not mine, obviously. It's something that I've seen online. I can't remember who recorded it. Apologies. Can't get ahead of ourselves. Job's not done. But oh, what a time to be alive. Look, Beast Boy, whatever happens now this season, we have done the double over our rivals. We have firmly sealed them below us, which they were already there, weren't they? Let's be right. They're a poor side, led by a good manager, it has to be said, who hasn't won anything yet, as Wilder said. He wants to wind his neck in, basically, was the message to Danny Roll. But that don't mean he's not a good manager, because he's done a good job with a poor set of players. Ray says, now we have to kick on and secure promotion. Keep focus, and we will do it. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles, like and subscribe. What a boost. What better boost can you ask for than to get one over on your city rivals, beat them twice to get back into the automatic promotion picture? It's a right shot in the arm for the players. Still buzzing after yesterday. Currently trying, says Jace. Currently got a Leeds fan in the house, told him to leave. Johnny and George would have loved this one, says Beast Boy. Absolutely right. In fact, let's see if I can. I don't know if I've pulled this up yet, but I meant to. I got a unbelievable picture of the manager. So it's a bit of a double one. So look at that. That is Chris Wilder celebrating in front of the sausage roll. I think if you see the video of that, sausage roll comes to try and shake his hand, and Wilder spins the opposite way. Now, some will say Wilder didn't see him put his hand out, because I don't think he did, but he probably knew what he was coming across for. So whether he's refused to shake his hand or not, I'm not entirely sure. But obviously on the right-hand side, all the players at the end held up the George Baldock shirt, and Wilder stood in front of the Sheffield United fans and held it aloft. Wow. Ooh. I'm not crying, you're crying. Jimmy, what were you doing on the Wendy's podcast last night? A little bit of stick, little bit of prodding. You know, I like to do these little things, little pleasures. Phil says, morning, Jimmy. Morning, pal. We should be very grateful to have Bramall Lane as our stadium. The Hillsborough pitch is a disgrace, while the stadium is in a terrible state up the ramp. Yes, I agree, it is, pal. Absolutely, Beast Boy. Yeah, they would. Jack says, watching those scenes at the end with Wilder and Baldock's shirt brought a tear to my eye. You and I'm sure thousands of others, pal. Danny Roll says, David, yes, doing a good job, but he showed his true colours this week. Typical German arrogance. Well, okay. Sam says, after scoring under Wednesday's cop, Robbo gave it to all their fans and wound them all up. Things you love to see, regardless of his playing ability. Yeah, absolutely. You love it. Will says, as much as I'm not in the Team Robbo camp, I thought, as a captain and leader, the little moments where he took attention off their crowd and protected his teammates showed a bit of captain potential. Fair point, mate. Fair point. Viral Vibe says they can't afford a lick of paint for the rust bucket. No, they can't. Andrew says, less it a fire. Was it a firework they threw onto the pitch when we scored? Saw a lot of folk throwing things at Robbo. Yeah, I think it might have been something similar. I don't know what it was. It was certainly a missile of some sort, wasn't it? And he initially, I think, went up to sort of chastise him about it, and then he just ended up sort of celebrating the goal, which you love. Lee, morning, pal. Enjoying a day's annual leave on such a beautiful morning. What a day that was. You have got to love a Sheffield double. Yes, mate. It's been a long time, hasn't it? CJ says, unbelievable. Well-deserved rest now. Get some of the boys back and one big final push for the run-in. Come on, Blades. Absolutely right. Scotty says, on the match, they didn't play bad at times. Started well, but we grew into the game. Should have gone in at half-time, 1-0 up. How good is Cooper? Once we scored, though, I felt confident we'd see it out. Me too, Scott. Me too. And it's no, I don't buy into this that we're just scraping by in some games. I have voiced my frustration that we don't see teams often and go for the jugular, and we're always vulnerable to a counter, which proved to be the case against Bristol City. But it's not luck that you win 15 games by a single goal. It's unbelievable game management. It's just not comfortable to watch as a fan sometimes. So, yeah, I always felt we were the better side. And once we got the goal, you fancied us to stay in front, didn't you? So it's just, I wish I could tell myself that in the moment, because it's all right looking back and saying that. At the time, I was still very, very nervous. It just means so much, doesn't it? Happy Chappy says, Peck handed Bannon spinning for his airpiece with that pirouette. Matty says, I don't think Brewster has had many bad games this season as people think. I don't think he's been amazing, but compared to other seasons, I think game by game he's been all right. I think he falls victim, Matty, to preconceived perceptions of him, doesn't he? And that's, so in some people's mind, it's set. So it's difficult to overturn that. Like I've openly said, is probably a problem with me and Jack Robinson. It was certainly a problem with Andy the Blade and Ollie McBurney. Not me, Jimmy, on TikTok. What's the fair dues, Danny? Fair dues. Matty says he's a striker as well. Remember, he's not played in his natural position all year. Wilder clearly fancies him as a 10. Clearly does. And let's be right. Although Gus Hamer can certainly play in the 10, he's used elsewhere. Callum O'Hare is our starting number 10. But there's a lot less competition in that area, I think, than there is striker. Because if you put them alongside each other, I don't think Rhian Brewster, I think Rhian Brewster's fourth choice behind Tyrese Campbell, Tom Cannon and Kiefer Moore. So, yeah, he's more likely to get a game in the 10 at the moment, I think. Lee says, couldn't make 90 after 90 last night as was out celebrating with a few Blades in our local, watching the dark side return for a consolation pint. We'll catch up later today. I can see it being a good one. We enjoyed it, pal. We really did enjoy it. And we missed you, but yeah, no problem. Get yourself celebrating. You should be out celebrating. Don't mind that at all. Up the Blades, what a player Rhian Brewster is, says Matthew. State of the pitch, though, says Scott. Hillsborough Park looks in better condition after Tramlines weekend. I agree. It was shocking, weren't it? It just highlights what a mess they're in, really. And some will get a lot of pleasure out of that. Others will think, they're close to some Wednesday nights, so it might not be. But where to for Sheffield Wednesday now? Not that we never talk about them on this channel, do we? But obviously, in the aftermath of us putting him to bed and ending their season effectively, which is what we've done. The 6 points off the playoffs, but they need to win. Well, Danny Roll himself said last night they need to win at least 6 of the last 8 games. Very, very unlikely. And that's if Coventry and Bristol City and West Brom don't match what they're already doing. So we've ended their season. He leaves at the end of the year, no doubt about it. Shea Charles goes back to Southampton via Sheffield United, maybe. Barry Bannon probably gets another year, but he's 36 then. They've got Max Lowe as one of their key defenders. Michael Smith's another year older. Is he, 33, 34? It's not looking great, is it? Not looking great for them. I do feel sorry for him, honest. Tom says, morning all. Time for us to steamroll through the last of the games now. Hopefully the Muppets from Leeds slip up. Hopefully, pal. They're having a bit of a wobble, aren't they? I know they're trying to brush it off. But in the last 4 games, they've got 5 points. Not a great return. Not champions points returns, is it? I'll state my case for Rhian in the Platinum chat later, says Ian. Don't you do that every day, Ian? But yeah, fair enough, pal. Viral Vibes says it's like a treble doing a double on the Piggies. Yeah, it is. It is. Will says, savouring this season like the last bit of steak at this point. Couldn't be happier for Brewster. Nice one, pal. Another victory, says Sai, by a single goal. Is that 40? I think it's 15. Many bemoaned Wilder for sitting back against Bristol City. On that occasion, it didn't work. However, a reminder to the process, not always entertaining, but it evidently works. Correct, Sai. Correct, mate. Well said. What a day yesterday. The Blades winning and Newcastle beating Liverpool, says Matthew. Come on, up the full-time Ramble. Up the Blades. Been watching loads of vlogs this morning as well. Love the housery of Peck drinking the water thrown on the pitch when we scored and Robbo giving it to the idiots chucking the flashbang. Absolutely right, Tom. Ian says Brewster scored more goals at Hillsborough this season than Ugbo. Stats keep coming. Rich says, Jimmy, let's just keep things in perspective. The city is ours. Brewster is worth 100 million. Cooper warrants a statue. Wilder a knighthood. Yeah, let's keep it in perspective, Rich. I agree. Up all the rambles. Lee says, I've said it before, Jim. Enjoy every moment of where we are as a team and a club at the moment. Don't forget where we've been and how far we've come in the last 10 years. It's great to be a Blade. Voice of reason there, Lee. Absolutely right. It's a case of be aware. Wilder sort of touched on it himself yesterday. Things will swing against Sheffield United at some point, and maybe even the Wendy's could overtake. I know it doesn't seem likely at the moment, but maybe they could overtake us at some, in the next 2, 5, 10 years, they were saying. But that's why we have to enjoy these moments, and it'll hurt when they overtake us, like it's hurting them now. But we've been the underdogs in this rivalry, and now we're the superior side in this rivalry. So let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy being better than them and everything that comes with it. Benjamin says, sausage roll. Brewster was first, Jimmy. Says Viral Vibes first. Coops and Diaz were also in the pub after Wilder. Yes, they were. Grumpy Jack says this should be a massive boost for us now. It's time to kick on and push on, up the performances, match Burnley's games and put the pressure on Leeds because they'll bottle it. Well, the thing is, we play first now, don't we? We play Friday night. So we've got the chance to go 3 points clear at the top. 5 points clear of Burnley before them and Leeds next play. Interesting. Dave Clement says, I wonder if CW took the team out for a few beers last night. Sausage roll wasn't on the menu. They'd already had one. Nice. Let's get the business done before the Burnley game because that'll take a mega performance from the lads. Barry Banana's hair was worse than the pitch, says Benjamin. What's that smell? Promotion, says Grumpy Jack. Doesn't sound very grumpy to me, that pal. That goal is worth all the money we paid for him. I'm not sure about that, Matthew. Not sure about that. But it will be if it gets us promoted, I suppose. Jamie Vardy, Chris Waddle, John Sheridan, Carlton Palmer, Howard Wilkinson, Ollie the Owl. Your boys took one hell of a beating. Yes, Simon. Jamie Vardy, Chris Waddle. Yeah, love that. Bit of talk sport. Richard Paul says, 3 games ago, you said you'd take 7 points over the next 3 games. Are you still happy, Jimmy, with the points return, even with 2 points covering the top 3? Yeah, I think we have to be. Did I say that? I'm glad I said that because we've got it, haven't we? So yes, I'm happy with the points return. Bristol City are a good side, and they've still got to play both Leeds and Burnley. Burnley much closer to the time. Obviously, they could drop off and be out of it. I think it's second to last game. They play Leeds United, but Burnley have to play. I think it's Bristol City next and then Coventry, or it might be Luton, Coventry, Bristol, something like that. It's very close. Burnley of Bristol City and Cov before we play them. Would love to be 4 points ahead when we go there. Dave, Disco Dave, absolutely right. Let me just see if I've got anything from you, mate. Let me just see, because we haven't had one of these for a while, have we? So, oh, yes, we have. Oh, yes, we have. Let's have a look. Who's going to be the best one? Let's go this one.
Bright lights, flashing lights, dancing feet in neon tights. Mirror ball, don't behave. Everybody shout out. Disco Dave. Disco Dave.
Oh, United love Alan Neil. Watching United is a thrill. When we put in practice your free kick and corner drill. Oh, United love Alan Neil. Watching United is a thrill. How do we get defenders popping up on the wing? Oh, United love Alan Neil. We think he's a tactical genius. So when Wilder takes a plan from his right-hand man, it's all down to Alan Neil. Takes a plan from his right-hand man, it's all down to Island Hill.
Disco Dave.
Shout out Disco Dave. We've not had one of them for a while. Oh, United, love Alan Neil. I think it's that, isn't it? I might be wrong. Should be a special edition kit with Brewster's face on it where the sponsor is for the double. Rich says, personally, I'm delighted with the points return due to the result yesterday, but I know I'm going to be really nervous again after the international break. We all will, pal. We'll all be nervous, and it's part of the ride, isn't it? It's what makes it. It'll make it so much better if we make it. It'll make it so much worse if we don't. But that's what it's about. Lloyd says, you can say what you want about Brewster all the way through his career at United. His attitude and commitment has never faltered. That speaks volumes. He's earned another contract, says Lloyd. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Brand says, morning, Jimmy. I have to say, on the back of yesterday, you know I'm aligned with your opinions on Robbo, but I have to credit the fact that he's captained us to a derby double. Incredible stuff. Can't take that away from him, can you, Brand? Can't take that away from him, and fair play to him. 2 clean sheets as well. It has to be said. Was he in the first game? He might where Anel was suspended. I'm not sure. I know Harry Suter played in that. That's the only reason I ask. Mark says 10 out of 12 from QPR, Preston, Bristol, and that lot. More than happy with that. Absolutely right, pal. Wilder has absolutely rattled that lot with his interview up the Blades. He certainly has, mate. Sent them over the tipping point. Remember, Burnley still have QPR to play. We beat Cov, and I think we're up, says Jack. What? Burnley still got to play Bristol City. Yes, they have. Lee says Burnley's next 2 are tough. Bristol City at home and Coventry away. We just need to do our job and hopefully be 4 points ahead by the time we play them to negate the goal difference just in case. Absolutely right. Somebody said double DVD. Massive win, that, pal. Says marching on together, LUFC. It was, mate. It was. It makes things very tight, doesn't it, at the top. Lee says, I think we'll be promoted at Stoke away. That'll be a decent ramble on the road if that happens. Could be a long one. Lee will be doing our ramble on the road for Stoke away. I hope for you that happens, but in all honesty, mate, I hope we're up by then. I hope that's the title confirmed. That would be the absolute ideal for me, because then we can just relax against Blackburn, can't we? Home day party. That'd be class. Need the win against Coventry, says Jimmy. Leeds and Burnley play twice before we kick off again. All right, okay. So we play Coventry and then they play twice before. Oh, interesting, Jimmy. Nice one. Okay. Right. Thank you to everybody for joining me this morning. I had no idea what we were going to talk about, but I always love jumping on, and it's not gloating, is it? But it's just enjoying the fact that we've won and we've beaten them. Like, it's probably the biggest win of the season, isn't it, in a lot of ways. So it stamps our authority over the opposition, over the blue half. If you haven't already, do please go and catch Jamie's. That's because he's messaging me here. But do go and catch George's Ramble on the road. Just another reminder that this is what we've got coming up later today. It's already out for Platinum Ramblers. In fact, I'll release it now to the rest of the Ramblers, but it'll be out for everybody else later today. So if you want to subscribe and get your notifications on, also go and give this a watch if you haven't already. Make mine a double. A very, very enjoyable, very enjoyable indeed. 90 after 90 yesterday. And I think it's probably best to leave you with this one. So for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades.
Ramble!